Spartans, we've been in it together from the beginning. This is the final mission for Tyrant's Halo Infinite Legendary walkthrough. And as always, no saves, no deaths. Mission 15, Silent Auditorium. Why are you being so silent? Silent Auditorium? The only one being silenced is the Harbinger. And when you beat this mission, you become legendary and a true Spartan. Thanks for watching.
What's up, everyone? It's the Tyrant here, and welcome back to my Halo Infinite Legendary Walkthrough 1.0. I believe it is the year 2059 now. No, it's still 2023. I did make a resolution to try to get this done before the end of the year, since it is New Year's Eve. Time is pressing, but thankfully I am making good on that promise. Yes, there is a 2.0 walkthrough that is coming down the line as well. For those of you who do not remember, the 1.0 walkthrough does have me using the Scorpion gun as a back pocket weapon, but I will try to use other weapons as my main tool for this walkthrough. But for the 2.0 walkthrough, there will be no Scorpion gun at all.
This is where Cortana died.
But we are on the final mission today, Mission 15, the Silent Auditorium. This mission admittedly gave me a hard time. The bulk of the mission is not a problem, but the Harbinger boss fight is a, pardon my language, a complete bitch. So we'll get to that in a bit. But for now, we're going to go ahead and tackle the rest of the mission. Now, this first area right here is not as daunting as it seems. If you go ahead and grapple up this pillar right here, there is a stalker rifle up top. And the 5 main enemies you need to worry about are the Elite General, the Elite Ultra. There is a Brute over there off to the right with a Stalker Rifle and the 2 turrets in the back. Those are the main ones you need to worry about right now. I'm using the tank gun against the General over there, the Elite General. But you do not need to do that. You can easily use the Stalker Rifle. You can also use the Stalker Rifle to take out the turrets over there in the distance before they mount up. They do go down with the Stalker Rifle. I'm going to leave the Elite Ultra down there on the left-hand side alone for now, because I do want to show you how to take these guys out without using the Scorpion gun. The remainder of the enemies here are fairly straightforward. There's a couple of Brutes, but there's mostly just Grunts and Jackals. Some of the Grunts are Ultras. Sometimes they're shielded, sometimes they're not. They're bipolar. I don't know what their deal is. Aside from that, the only other enemy that you really need to worry about in this room does not emerge until you advance far enough, and it's over there on the door on the far left side. It's a Berserker Brute. You know how much I hate those guys, but I'm going to show you how to deal with them. We are going into this mission with fully upgraded Spartan cores, so you should know that from the get-go. If you do not have these, some of the moves that I pull here, you are not going to be able to pull off yourself. In the meantime, I would recommend going ahead and just taking out the cannon fodder here. Those are the Grunts and Jackals, so that you can deal with the Elite without having to deal with them as well. The threat sensor will tell you exactly where everything is. You can use the drop wall, of course, to make sure that you can shoot at enemies without having to worry about return fire. And of course the grapple hook to get from point A to point B a lot faster, as well as vertically, which is nice. So I'm going to show you exactly how to take out the Elite here. And you can apply this same technique to the General that's over there as well. We already took him out with the Scorpion gun here, but I'm just showing you how to deal with this Elite, so you can apply the same technique to the other one should you not have the Scorpion gun available. Now that we are in an era where you can go back to Outpost for money whenever you wanted to get it, it's not that big of a deal. But again, if you don't like using it, here's your way of doing it. Use the ground pound. That's going to stun him a little bit. Use it again. You can keep using this as much as you want to. But usually twice his shields are down. He will cloak at that point, and you can use a headshot weapon such as the battle rifle, which is exactly what we have here, to finish him off. And then you can just take out the rest of the enemies here one by one as you see fit, whichever the biggest threat to you is at the time. But since they're all pretty far back, you shouldn't have to worry too much. Keep your threat sensors up so you know where all enemies are, you shouldn't have to worry too much until you advance far enough where those doors start to open. Doors will open on both sides, but really the one on the left, as I mentioned before, is the only one you need to worry about because it has the Berserker Brute. The one on the right does have a Brute as well, but it's just a regular Brute with a Pulse Carbine. So as long as you are aware of his presence, you should be fine. You'll have a couple of skirmishers that pop out in this door too. Again, really nothing to worry about as long as you know where they are and you don't let them take too many hits on you. The Berserker Brute is another thing. With his face mask, he is definitely devastating. Very difficult to get headshots, but you can use the same ground pound technique again. Fully upgraded, it is a very devastatingly powerful weapon. And it also helps to conserve ammo, so that's something to keep in mind too. One thing to note here is, again, because I'm using the Scorpion Gun as a back pocket weapon, for those of you who are not familiar with it, you cannot drop it and then pick it up again. So once you drop the Scorpion Gun for another weapon, that's it. Scorpion Gun is gone. So in a way, the Scorpion Gun, since I'm trying to use it as a back pocket weapon, does hinder me a little bit in this walkthrough, because where I could be using two different weapons, I'm using only one instead. So I'm kind of looking forward to the 2.0 walkthrough in that regard, or at least finishing it, because I don't have to worry about what weapons I drop versus what weapons I have. But as you can see, that ground pound upgrade is very helpful. Again, not only powerful, but it helps you save ammo as well. So that's the first room. The next room, you'll have a few grunts. There is an elite major here, and there's also a brute in back with a sentinel beam. So I like to go ahead and use a drop ball here because, as you can see, they like to throw grenades. He's clearly terrible at it. Maybe he plays for the Red Sox. I don't know. But still, clearly he does not know how to throw grenades, but he's willing to do so, and he can stick you regardless. That ground pound right there is almost as effective as a plasma pistol overcharge shot. It's nice to have. So if going into this mission, if you have not fully upgraded your Spartan cores, you should do so, especially since this is the last mission and you pretty much had your last shot at the mission of the sequence. So if you're wondering why I'm picking up other weapons here, actually the Pulse Carbine I still consider to be one of the most effective and overpowered weapons in the game. Again, it's plasma, so it's effective against shields. It can get headshots just like the battle rifle can, but it also hones in on targets just like the Needler. So it's very overpowered even with slow projectiles. But I am trying to be very sparing with the battle rifle here because aside from the ammo that we got way in the back there in the first room, there is a battle rifle there. You basically get a refill crate here in the next room, which is the hunter room, which we'll talk about in a second, and that's it. That's the only battle rifle ammo you can get between now and the Harbinger boss fight, which I would recommend taking the battle rifle too. So I am using the Scorpion Gun against the hunters here. You do not have to do this. These are extremely aggressive, what I like to call uber hunters. These are the ones who don red armor. You do not need to use a Scorpion Gun. It is definitely easier, but you also have skewers and ravengers in this room that you can use to your advantage. So even though I'm not using those here, I will use them in my 2.0 walkthrough and describe here how you can actually use those to your advantage rather than the Scorpion Gun. So the skewers are obviously right there in the crate in front of me. The Ravenger is off to the left. What you want to do if you enter this room without the Scorpion Gun is basically lap around to the right hand side counterclockwise, and then you want to get to this area up here where there's a little groove. You can use the drop wall to sort of shield yourself from the hunters, and then use the threat sensor to gauge where they are, and then pick them off with the skewer and then with the Ravenger's overcharge shot. Just basically pulling the area with its energy. So between those two, you can down the hunters pretty easily without the Scorpion Gun, just to save a little bit of time. And again, since this is already deemed the Scorpion Gun walkthrough, I'm going ahead and just using those anyway. I think these hunters are extremely overpowered, like way too much. I mean, they could spam fuel rod shots at you, which is just too much. Too much, even for legendary. No. Just imagine going through this on Lazo, which I will be doing a Lazo playthrough on this as well, hopefully later in 2024.
We meant so much to
So
each other.
coming up, we only have a couple of big rooms left, but I want to make sure that we use our battle rifle sparingly. We want to keep it around, at least for the Harbinger fight. So we're going to be taking advantage of other weapons in the area that I may not normally take advantage of, just because we need to keep at least 6 rounds left there. I say 6 because it fires 3 shots at once. You don't want to accidentally pull the trigger and then completely lose access to your battle rifle if you accidentally drop it. So in this room right here, this is what I call one of the mid-tier rooms. Tons of grunts. There are 2 brutes and also an elite ultra in the back with a heat wave. You need to be careful here because once you've killed enough enemies, a lot of times there'll be 1 or even 2 grunts that will suicide themselves towards you. So I've had one of them take me off guard before. I was just not paying attention to my radar. He was not making any noise. They never do that. They always are yelling and screaming. This guy was just like, no, I'm going to get you the easy way. And he did. Fortunately, not in this particular playthrough. So in the next room, once again, just keep your threat sensors up so you know where everybody is. There is a ridiculous amount of cannon fodder enemies here. Way more than there should be. The elite is the one you need to pay the most attention to. Again, with both ultras and generals, once you have damaged them enough, they will cloak themselves and stay that way. So really the only way to know where they are after that is using the threat sensor. So I want to get this guy down as quickly as possible. Like I said, you do not need to use the scorpion gun. Just referencing what you saw at the beginning of the mission, you can use your ground pound. I don't know how easy it is to grapple an invisible enemy. You can do it, obviously, but you need to have like really precision aim. And if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know I do not have that at all, remotely. Again, bad right hand, so really only using one fully functioning hand here. So I do not have the best aim, but I think I got that guy pretty good. I'll give myself credit where credit is due. And so we're just going to go ahead and take these guys out. There are some grunt ultras down there you need to be aware of. They do like to throw their grenades. Once again, sometimes they have shields, sometimes they do not. I guess they forget that they have them. But regardless, go ahead and just slowly take out the enemies in this room. If you feel like rushing through it, you can obviously do that too. Just be aware on the other side you will have 1 brute and some of his squad mates with him. And there's also another giant fusion coil back there that could potentially detonate from an enemy weapon just as much as it could from yours. So I'd recommend just go ahead and taking these guys out. It's not difficult. You're not going to really use these weapons again anyway, since we're going to go ahead and pick up the battle rifle once these guys are down. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and take out the enemies in the next area. So there's the jackal. Got 1 little guy left down here. Come on. There we go. Good puppy. Alright, so we should be good to go from here. Make sure you're loaded up on grenades. You can continue dropping threat sensors if you're not entirely sure if you've gotten all the enemies. I would recommend dropping a threat sensor in the next area though, just because you have the brute right here. So it's good to know where they are, but you can also hear them too, usually. So again, we have the brute. You can use the ground pound if you want to. And now we're moving to the next area. So we're getting closer to the end. The next big room does feature some sentinels. If you're trying to get the bandana skull, you want to avoid killing them, obviously. That is one of the objectives to getting the bandana skull, but I already have that, so I really don't care. I'm not using it here, though. There is that shock sentinel in the distance. I would recommend normally taking him out first if you have a weapon to do it. If you do not, another methodology is 2 of his friends, standard sentinels, will rise up right there towards you. You can lure them in your direction and then use the ground pound to take one out, and then use that sentinel's weapon to take out both the other sentinel as well as the shock sentinel in the back. I use this method on repository quite a bit. But in the meantime, since I did not do that here, just go ahead and use the scorpion gun. Now on either side, you're going to have grunts and jackals that advance on your location. You can always fall back here. As far as I can tell, this particular door does not lock. So you can fall back there as much as you need to. Just keep your threat sensors active and take note when enemies are advancing in your location. As far as long-range weapons are concerned, you can obviously see the sniper rifle over there off to the right. Over there on the left, you also have stalker rifles as well as shock rifles. Again, I'm not that great with sniper weapons in general. The battle rifle has been by far the most useful precision weapon I have used in this game. For those of you who are two-handed and can obviously work the controls better than I can, you have those weapons available to you. They're going to be very useful in your endeavors here. But aside from the grunts and jackals that advance on your location, you're going to have to focus on that central platform next. There's going to be, again, additional cannon fodder down there. You need to be aware of the plasma turret that's there, as well as the Elite Ultra, and there is a brute down there as well. Now, this is a trait that has picked up from previous Halo games. Once you kill an enemy from a turret, once you take them out of there, another enemy will try to take its place. We've seen that many times in this game already. And so my goal here is to get the Elite Ultra on that turret, because once he's there, he will not leave until he's dead or if you've destroyed the turret. This is very helpful because, again, just to reiterate, Elite Ultras, just like the Generals, once they've taken too much damage, they will cloak themselves and become immensely harder to kill. I was going to say infinitely, and then I was like, no, that's what the game's called. Just because I have not used the sniper rifle very much in this walkthrough, I'm going to go ahead and just use it now. Actually, I think this may be the first time in the walkthrough that I've used the sniper rifle at all, just because I'm so bad with it. That was a lucky shot. So there's the Ultra right there. Again, he's got a heat wave just like the other one. Just take out the enemies here until he gets on there, and then you can go from there. The brute here, just like all the other brutes, not difficult to deal with at all. So, alright, where'd you go? Again, use the threat sensor if you need to. There's the brute. Good for us. Alright, so he's, yeah, that didn't take much. Even with the shield, the sniper rifle just completely kineticized him. We're going to call that from the... I think that's a good term. Alright, so now the Elite Ultra has mounted the turrets. Try not to laugh or giggle. And we're going to go ahead and just deal with him with one of the energy weapons here. The Stalker Rifle looks very tempting. But yeah, he'll just stay there at this point, making him far easier to deal with from a distance. And he's still shooting at center of mass, so even though you can see him, he's not shooting at you correctly. Now that the Elite Ultra's down, you have to worry about the elites in the next platform, which are usually, sometimes they're minors, sometimes they're majors. But there's 2 of them. Then in the far back of the room, there's going to be a brute with a Ravager. You do want to make sure you take him out too, otherwise he's going to make your life a complete hell, just mortaring you from all the way across this corridor right here. It's complete insanity, so I think that's him. So I'm just going ahead and do this. You do not, again, need to use the Scorpion gun. You can use another ranged weapon like the shock rifle or stalker rifle and be completely fine. I'm just doing it here to save a little bit of time and energy, and because I have the Scorpion gun anyway. And since we have some shielded enemies here and they're dancing around, dancing, just like was it Virant Tower? Or no, it wasn't Virant. I don't know. It was one of the ones in Halo Reach, wherever the dance club was. I think Virant was a different one. You can let me know in the comment section below. I'm sure most of you are very familiar with the franchise, that you can correct me on this. Club Aurora, that's what it is. Sorry if I beat you to it. How did I forget that? My first Halo walkthrough was published by Claude Herrera, Louis Wu, on HBO. Such a legend. But anyway, for this last area right here, again, once you've taken out that Ravager brute, it's just grunts, jackals, and a couple of skirmishers. That's it. Just hang back. Use your threat sensors if you're not exactly sure where they are. You can technically rush this area if you love being an acrobat. You see those beams on the side right there, those ones that sort of like arch up to the left and the right. You can actually swing all the way across, and if you're fast enough, just get through the door. I've fallen to my death many a time with that, so I wouldn't recommend it personally, but if you are a black belt with a grapple shot, please feel free to go ahead and abuse the hell out of it. And yes, I did pick up the skewer here. It's not even remotely necessary, but I will not be using it at any point in the rest of the mission, and I am trying to conserve my battle rifle for the Harbinger fight. Again, you may or may not use it. Just to sort of give you an FYI, obviously I'm going to be using the Scorpion gun for the Harbinger fight. However, if you're not going in with the Scorpion gun, oh, boom. Sorry, buddy. I think that was a little too much for you. Anyway, I usually would like to prefer to go in with the battle rifle for just precision weapons at a medium to long distant range. And again, it's very forgiving. And then using the Cinder Shot as my power weapon, especially for more close-up encounters, or medium close-up. By the way, there are 2 more Sentinels there. Almost forgot about them. Again, there are Sentinel beams here you can use against them. I just happen to have the Pulse Carbine available, which is also effective against Sentinels. So you can use that too. As effective as the Sentinel beam? No, but still fairly effective. Also, it does track, and the Sentinels do tend to move around, so that's something to think about. So we're going to go ahead and take out these guys real quick. Come on. I swear, this Sentinel's been taking lessons from my cat. Come on. There you are. Alright, 1 Sentinel down. Other one's kind of playing hide and seek back there. We got you. Alright. There he is. Alright, second Sentinel down. As far as the rest of the mission is concerned, there's 1 large room and 1 sort of medium-sized room they need to worry about. The large room, again, we do not have a lot of battle rifle ammo left. And as far as I know, at least there are no kinetic refill stations between here and the Harbinger fight. So, you know, once you get down to, you know, just a few rounds for your battle rifle, I would switch out for other weapons. Kind of like how I'm using the use it as a back pocket weapon, kind of like how I'm using the Scorpion gun here. So now we have to sit here for a hot minute while Cortana and Atriox just sort of have their little conversation. Why we're seeing this, I don't know. I get the data clusters and whatnot. That scientifically makes absolutely 0 sense.
Silent Auditorium.
I don't ride down the highway here and all of a sudden have a flashback of something that happened 20 years ago. Although I know this was like 6 months ago in Halo Infinite time, but still, it's weird. Pretty though. I'll give it credit where credit is due.
This ring is all I need.
Okay, so this next room, you know,
Data. It's
the
more
weapon's trying
precise,
to
more complete.
pat Master Chief on the shoulder. He doesn't need it.
We're getting
Spoiler
closer
alert.
to where she died.
He's a tough guy.
Yes. But I was
You
going
do
to
have weapons
say
back here you
deliberate.
can use if you want to.
Like she wanted us to
I
know
do not
something.
know if this door locks once you get to a certain point, so if you want to take the stalker rifles and shock rifles over here, you obviously can. This is the other big room. So I'll go ahead and just describe this to you right off the bat. You do have that brute right there. On either side of the upper platforms on the left and right, you have one stalker jackal or jackal sniper, depending on how you reference them. Down below in the back, you have a brute captain. Sometimes he has a plasma cannon. Sometimes he has a hydro launcher. But he can usually hit you from a pretty sizable distance. And there's also a Ravager brute somewhere on the right-hand side. So once you take those guys out, you just need to be aware of the ones that advance on your location. You will have enemies sort of gang up on you after a while once you've advanced far enough into this room. But as you can see, there are tons of weapons here that you can utilize. I'm going to show you, just we're going to have fun with this at this point because I don't want to really waste any more battle rifle ammo. Let's just go ahead and juggle a bunch of weapons here and just have a little bit of fun. It's this room. There's one other smaller room with an Elite Ultra. And aside from that, that's it. That's it between here and the Harbinger boss. So go ahead and use your threat sensor to make sure you know where the enemies are. Again, you want to make sure you try to get those... if they're hiding from you, you can use the fusion coils to sort of get their attention. Completely yeeted that asshole right there. And keep an eye on those upper platforms so that you're not getting sniped. I see that other jackal right up there. We're going to go ahead and get him real quick. They can rapid fire their stalker rifles, so just be aware of that. Shock rifle is a great counter to them. Especially if you're like me and, you know, suck at precision weapon. But there should be another guy up here. If you're not sure where he is, you do want to take these guys out relatively quickly so that you have a bit more freedom to sort of roam around back here without having to worry about being sniped so badly. And there he is. Alright, so the sniper should be down at this point. And now we can just sort of take these guys out. Again, be aware of the Ravager brute. I'm not sure if I took him out yet or not. And there's going to be a number of enemies on the bottom floor, namely skirmishers and grunt ultras. Again, sometimes they shield themselves, sometimes they do not. So just be aware that they are present. And you'll have some jackals that advance on your location too. If you take too long here, sometimes sentinels will raise their ugly heads near the back of the room, so just be aware of them as well. We have another brute back there. I'm very careful about how I use fusion coils on Legendary because keep in mind, enemies can and will shoot them out of your hand, killing you in the process. So just be conscious of that. If you're in the middle of a firefight, don't pick up one of those fusion coils because you'll probably get yourself killed. And that brute, I don't think that brute has ADHD. So we're gonna go ahead and try to deal with this grunt. That grunt fell down. Are you back yet? No, you're just kind of hiding there. Just kind of going back and forth. Alright, so that's another grunt down. Again, just keep an eye on the back. If that brute has a plasma cannon, it's not that big of a deal, but if he has a hydro launcher, he can basically snipe you. So just be aware of that. Look for the fast-moving red projectiles that might be heading your way. That's how you can tell pretty easily. Man, I am a terrible shot. There we go. So again, we're just going to move up, take these enemies out one by one. Again, I'm mostly keeping my threat sensors up at this point just for the sentinels that may appear. They can appear here. Sometimes they do, sometimes they do not. And then sometimes other enemies advance. So just be aware of them. But definitely let's focus on the brutes in the back here. So you have one shielded one. They do have brutes back there with bulldogs, aka shotguns. One common tactic that I tend to use is once I've killed enough key enemies, a lot of times what I'll do is just bum rush the last section. Again, if you don't care about dying, then it probably is going to have zero impact on you at all. And that's what that overcharge shot does, by the way. If you have not taken notice of that, if you did not know the Ravager did that, definitely missed that. It basically spills a pool of energy. This is what I was referencing earlier when it comes to the hunters. When you're dealing with them, you can use a combination of the skewer and that overcharge shot from the Ravager to really weaken and ultimately take them down. But a lot of these enemies will just stand their ground. So again, having that overcharged Ravager shot does come in handy. I don't think this is technically a power weapon. I don't even know what the Ravager is. Like, where does it... Is it energy based? I don't know. I don't think it really matters that much, though. But we do have a rocket launcher here, so let's have some fun with this. Again, we do not need to go this route, but there's that brute back there that I was telling you about. Sometimes he has a plasma cannon, sometimes he has a Hydra launcher. Hydra launcher is definitely worse. Plasma cannon is significantly easier to dodge, especially from that distance. So we're just going to go ahead. Again, if you have a full battle rifle here, if you've been toting it about, this is going to go a lot faster. But again, you can use a sniper weapon as well. If you are a, precision fighter, then those sniper weapons are definitely better for you. I am not. So I work with what I have. But it is kind of fun using all these weapons, considering that we will not be using them again. I would not recommend using the rocket launcher for the Harbinger fight. I mean, you can. You would just be juggling a lot of weapons. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if they would despawn if you're on that elevator. Because there is a lift that goes up to where you go to eventually fight the Harbinger. Don't know how that works weapon-wise. And now we have a Hydra. I do love the Hydra in this game. It was fun in Halo 5 too, but I think it's more useful and more tactical in this game than it was in Halo 5. It makes more sense. So we're going to go ahead and just... Again, yeah. I know I'm just kind of just spamming weapons here. You do not need to do this. I'm just having fun with the weapons I have available to me. Because I know I'm not going to be using them again. But you could easily use the shock rifle, stalker rifle, pulse carbine, battle rifle if you have enough ammo available to you to take out all these enemies. Or, like I said before, you can just bum rush this location with little to no problem at all. And if you're really insecure like I am, then you can just use the threat sensors to make sure that even the staggering enemies, you know exactly where they are at all times. So again, we have another stalker. I'm just clearing these guys out. I could have easily used that pulse carbine right there, but I'm just having fun here. There's another, yeah, there's the plasma brute. Come on, buddy. You got promoted for a reason. There we go. There we go. Come on. He's taking a lot of rounds. That is unnatural. In fact, I would actually call that supernatural. Isn't that right, Dean? No, I'm just kidding. Alright, there we go. So I'd say the main... with the exception of maybe this guy. I don't think he has anything, like, ultra powerful, though. But why risk it? No, he doesn't. Alright. So, enemies in this room should be fairly clear with the exception maybe a couple of stragglers. But the main ones that you need to worry about should be out. If you want to bum rush at this point, shouldn't be a problem. But again, if you wait too long and advance too far, without getting into the next area, sentinels will show up. So once you're satisfied with how this room has been cleared, go ahead and pick up the battle rifle again. We do not have a lot of ammo left for this thing. And then we're going to head to the next area. As far as the enemies there are concerned, your main focus should be the Elite Ultra. And then you're going to have, I believe, one Brute, and then the rest are pretty much cannon fodder. I'm going to go ahead and use the... Oh, yep, there was one left back there. But yeah, just FYI, if you didn't catch what I did there, that was the thruster pack, fully upgraded. It gives you active camo upon use, and fully upgraded, it gives you 2 charges as well. Fairly useful for regaining your balance, or getting your bearings if you need it just a second. With the exception of what's coming up, which is the Harbinger battle, which I'm going to be bitching about quite a bit. Throughout this thing. It's taken me a while. I actually did go out of my way to look at what other people have done for the Harbinger fight. I'm not even talking about this room because you can clearly see what I'm doing. Once the Ultra's down, which he already is, really it's just picking enemies off. No, as far as the Harbinger fight is concerned, I consider it to be a more sadistic version of the Tartarus battle in Halo 2, which actually wasn't that bad. It's arena-based. The main boss is protected by an invincible shield that you cannot break through, and basically relies on his allies to do all the heavy lifting for him. In this case, that is the same deal with the Harbinger, where she has the Banished helping her out, and that is where the true battle really is. Not so much with the Harbinger, even though she can be quite frustrating herself. Is that the Elite still alive? Oh, wow, okay. I thought I had taken him out. He is still kicking. Alright. Let's see what I can do with the plasma rifle here. Or plasma pistol. God. Blasphemy on my part for saying that. Alright. Once again, you do not use the tank gun against him, but we're at the end of the mission. Here's literally the last ass enemy between here and the Harbinger. So we're going to go ahead and pick up the battle rifle once again. And since we do have ammo left, we can refill this once we get to the Harbinger's arena, aka the Silent Auditorium. But yeah, essentially what I hate about that battle, more than anything else, is the fact that you cannot choose your tactics. The enemies are aggressing on you constantly, unlike what we've seen previously in this game, or really any other Halo title. They're just chasing you down relentlessly, so you have to be constantly on the move, or you have to use an alternative tactic, which I'm going to show you here, but is a bit of what I hate to admit is luck of the draw. Meaning you may or may not be able to do this. So I'm telling you all this now to give you sort of a setup about what you're about to see. I will be using the Scorpion gun here. I'm proud to do that actually, because this battle just pisses me off to no end. It's extremely imbalanced.
I'm starting to get a bad feeling about all this.
Starting.
Good point.
But I am going to give you tips along the way as to how to beat her without the use of the Scorpion gun, and then eventually show this to you with my Legendary 2.0 walkthrough, assuming that I do not die of a heart attack in the process of trying to complete this. By the way, straight up ahead, if you have not already collected the bandana skull, it's back there if you did not kill any sentinels getting to this point.
reflect on your
and I believe that can be done on any difficulty setting. So we're going to go ahead and just go straight up, and I'll let, exposition take it from here.
How could I have been so stupid? Halsey made a copy. It was the only way. There's not much time. If Atriox takes control, he has the ring. A weapon pointed into the universe. Nothing left to lose. My fault. My stupid fault. Not much time. Will this work? There's a moment. John will make it work. He needs help. Of course. Was this your plan all along, Halsey? Or is it mine? It doesn't matter now. Nothing else matters. This has got to work. He can't do it on his own. He needs me. He needs her.
It is time for you to make your choice.
I have. Thank you, Atriox. You helped me. You really did. Would you humor me? If you knew how you were going to die, how would you live your life differently?
I would change nothing.
Perfect. Thank you.
What are you doing?
Making things right. It was her. She destroyed the ring, stopped my deletion. Why?
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, that little exchange made me think to myself, okay, so was Atriox the fans and Cortana 343 basically saying, okay, we know you didn't like some of our previous stuff, so we're gonna try to make it right for you. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking way too much into this. I actually like Halo 4 and 5. I think the Bungie games are obviously fantastic too. I mean, I did start with those, but anyway. So going with this, go ahead and grab the Cinder Shot,
Silent
and
Auditorium.
we'll pick up here in a second.
Obviously. It appears to be... Oh no.
What is it?
It's a courtroom, a prison, a place of execution. All these things together. Why?
To cover their sins, we stood silent, unable to speak as they passed judgment. We could not defend ourselves. We could not reason with them.
Something's sending a signal. Before you ask, I'm already tracking it.
Hear this, Forerunners. Your auditorium has fallen. The endless bound. Your sins undone. Today we return.
Okay, so screw this battle. I absolutely hate it. Like I said, pick up the Cinder Shot. This is going to be a great replacement for you if you do not have the Scorpion Gun. So right out the gate, one of the two entrances right outside of the main entrance that you came through. So one of the two doorways either side of the entrance that you came through is going to open and release the first wave of Banished. Two doors will open in each round. This is the first round. After this, the doors seem to be completely random in terms of where the Banished actually come from, and I'll tell you why that's important in a second. Once you've killed all the banished, the Harbinger shields go down. You can take her out. Again, in this case, we're using the Scorpion gun. You can also use the grapple shot and sword as an option. And then Cinder Shot if she gets away as a follow-up weapon.
This isn't good. The connection
Here,
is
we're just
sensitive.
going to use the Scorpion gun.
something.
We got lucky on this one. If you get to the door before it locks, you can actually hide in here. This is the only cover you can have in this battle. Otherwise, you have to run around like a complete idiot, and I hate it. There is no cover. There's no place you can catch your breath. The enemies are very relentless. Round 2 is probably, in my opinion, the worst one because there are tons of sniper enemies. They either have stalker rifles, they have shock rifles, they have damage over time weapons, and you have that asshole there with the Harbinger. And so there's no easy way to get them. You can use those bottom, chest high level walls right there to help you out a little bit, but they spread out all over the room, so it's kind of difficult to deal with. I have looked at several different strategies. None of them work that consistently. I will try to find a better one for the 2.0 walkthrough, but for now, this is the best I have. You can find a room to dodge into as the banished are coming out. Do that with the first 2 waves. The first one's not as bad, but definitely with the second one if you can. The third one, though, does have that really menacing war chieftain that you need to worry about. He is absolutely relentless, one of the hardest enemies in the game. He's shielded, he just charges at you, does those 30-foot lunges that you have to worry about. So you need to stay away from him because he can one-shot you very easily. Some argue he's the true boss of this boss battle, not the Harbinger herself. Once he's down, the rest isn't that bad. There are less snipers in this wave than there were in the previous one, but you do need to be very conscious of them. You will get shocked. You do have skimmers here, so just be aware of them. Get that drop wall up when you can. Try to keep your enemies in front of you. Try not to panic too much. I have a bad habit of doing that when I'm getting shot at. Instead of just trying to get the drop wall up and holding my ground, I'll do exactly what I'm doing here, which is just take off and try to get the cover. But there's no real cover here except for maybe like right under those little ramps right there. But usually I stay on the top level just so I have a better vantage point. I believe that's the last skimmer right there. Oh, we have a grunt and another skimmer. So let's get these guys down. Once they're down, there should be a Harbinger round 3 that we need to worry about. She does get more aggressive every time, especially with her special abilities, that black hole that she tends to chuck at you. Be very conscious of that. But with the Scorpion gun, it takes about 2 to 3 rounds direct hits to actually kill her. And then once you do, that is it. There we go. That is Halo Infinite on Legendary. The Legendary walkthrough, the 1.1, the 1.0 walkthrough is finally complete. Sorry that took so long. But technically it did take me longer to do the Halo 2 one, so it's not the longest it's ever taken me to do a Legendary walkthrough for a Halo game. But I hope you did find this useful, even though the game has been out for over 2 years at this point. If you have not beaten this game on Legendary yet, maybe you can use this as a guide for yourself. I do plan on doing more videos for 2024. I have a few guides that I want to release, mostly for finding the armor cores, if you have not found those yet, skulls, things of that nature to just help your game that much better. And of course the 2.0 Legendary walkthrough, as well as the Lazo challenge video that I am looking forward to. I do appreciate every one of you who has stuck around this long to see this walkthrough through. You know what I mean. But hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found it beneficial. And if you did, I hope you'll consider subscribing to this channel for more great content in the near future. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely glorious new year and a fantastic 2024. Again, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you. I'll catch you all right back here next time. And as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.
A few milliseconds, really. I hope it worked out. Look at us,
We just keep saying goodbye, don't we? But this isn't an end. It's a chance to make amends, to rectify mistakes. And it starts here. I was wrong. I thought that I could do this on my own. But I forgot that the whole point of all of this, the entire reason that I chose you in the first place, was that we were supposed to be a team. Perfectly suited, perfectly matched, perfect. In these final moments, I know what my last mission is. I need to make sure you two learn from my mistakes. Become stronger because of them. I chose well, Master Chief. I really did. Now, it's up to you. Are you all right? I don't know what to say. Scratch that. We need to get out of here. Like now.
Options?
I'm thinking. Yes, I know. Think faster. Maybe there's a way to...
Was that you?
Would it help if I said yes?
Probably.
But we don't know where it's going, or even if it's going anywhere.
Any other suggestions?
No, but this is a really bad idea!
Let's not do that again.
I did try to tell you it was a bad idea.
Chief! Your beacon just appeared out of nowhere. Oh, I thought I lost you. Where did you go?
Echo 216.
Stay put. I'm coming to you.
Where are we?
Chief, I think the better question is when are we? I don't know how, but we've been gone for days. 3 days, to be precise.
This ring is different than the others.
The Banished and the Harbinger were looking for something that was never found. Why would the Forerunners hide something and throw away the key? Doesn't that scare you?
No. You?
Of course not.
Is anyone going to ask me what I think? I guess not. Get inside, big guy. Chief. Oh. Sorry. I'm really happy to see you. Really happy. So, what do we do now?
We finished the fight.
Yes, sir. The Banished still control the rest of the ring.
Wait. I know this is weird, given all that's happened, but
What? What is it?
we still don't know your name. We can't keep calling you Echo 216.
No, you can't. Esparza. Fernando Esparza.
It's nice to meet you, Esparza. Fernando Esparza.
Good work, soldier.
And what about you?
What about me?
What do I call you?
Any ideas?
Well, do you think it would be okay? You're sure?
You get to choose your name.
Then I think I might have the perfect one.
All right. Here we go. Whew. Get ready.